It's the 20 schedule release show. The season begins on October 22nd. The NBA on TNT opening night presented by AutoTrader. Zion gets thrust right into the national spotlight when the Pelicans begin a new era in Toronto, where the Raptors will raise their first ever championship banner. Kawhi has moved on. However, Lowry and Siakam will play in game one of the season. Then it's the first battle of LA. The second game of the opening night doubleheader on TNT features the first time we'll see LeBron and AD together in Laker uniforms as they play their hallway rival, the Clippers. Kawhi's LA debut, but will Paul George be healthy and ready to go on October 22nd after a pair of off-season shoulder surgeries? That's the first of 1,230 games. Welcome to NBA TV's 1920 schedule release show. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Jared Greenberg. It's never too early for a Charles Barkley guarantee. And coming up, Chuckster tells us who is coming out of the East. Plus, Wes Wilcox gives us the perspective of a GM predicting the next big NBA rumor. Over the next hour, we'll get you ready for the season to come. And maybe the biggest highlight of the new calendar is being able to get to bed a little earlier if you live in the Eastern time zone. This year, many West Coast start times have been moved to an earlier tip time. We'll break it all down for you. First, let's take a look at the entire opening week. Now, we showed you Tuesday. Here's the rest of Kia NBA Tip-Off 2019. Wednesday, October 23rd on ESPN, Boston visits Philadelphia, followed by Denver at Portland. Our first look at the reigning MVP is Thursday on TNT when Giannis and the Bucks are in Houston to take on the new-look Rockets with Harden and Westbrook. Then it's off to San Francisco. That's right, San Francisco for the grand opening of the state-of-the-art Chase Center as the Warriors host the Clippers. Friday on ESPN, it's Zion's home debut as the Pels welcome Luka, Porzingis, and the Mavs. Later on the first Friday, it's Utah at the Lakers. Now, opening week finishes up right here on NBA TV, Saturday, October 26th. We've got a triple header for you. Miami and Milwaukee, the Celtics taking on the Knicks, and the Clippers take on the Suns. Now let's get to the biggest night of the NBA regular season. It's Christmas Day, of course, and it all starts on ESPN with the champs hosting the Celtics. Then on ABC, Santa will be in Philadelphia when the Sixers welcome Giannis and the Bucks. The only playoff rematch on Christmas Day is Houston at Golden State. The second installment of the Clippers and Lakers will be the 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific game. Then on December 25th, it wraps up with New Orleans playing in Denver. Another marquee day on the calendar, of course, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Monday, January 20th. It tips off right here on NBA TV from the farmhouse right down the street in Atlanta when the Hawks host the Raptors. TNT has an MLK Day triple header. As always, the NBA is in Memphis. The Grizz play the Pels. Then the Lakers go east to take on the Celtics, followed by a Western Conference Finals rematch with the Warriors and Portland. Now, following the busiest summer in NBA history, there are a ton of dates circled. Some good, some bad, some pretty ugly. But here are the most notable return games for the upcoming NBA season. Kawhi was one and done in Toronto, guiding the Raptors to their first title. Kawhi should receive a hero's welcome when the Clippers play north of the border on December 11th. Paul George spent 2 seasons in OKC before requesting a trade to LA. He'll be back on December 22nd. Later, we'll discuss what kind of reception we believe he will get in OKC. Now, no doubt, Russell Westbrook will get a standing O when he returns on January 9th wearing a Rockets jersey. Russ is OKC's all-time leading scorer. It's going to be nuts in Boston on November 27th when Kyrie is back at TD Garden for the first time as a member of the Nets. Now, later that same night, after an awkward final season in the Big Easy, it's going to be a whole lot of boos for Anthony Davis as the Lakers visit New Orleans. We'll talk more return games coming up, including when Kemba goes back to Charlotte. But now, let's get reaction to the big games on the 2019-2020 NBA schedule. For that, we turn to our good buddy Charles Barkley, who's joining us on the phone. Chuckster, good to hear from you. Let's begin with how your schedule will begin in October with a battle for L.A. with the Clippers and the Lakers. How excited are you to see these two teams as two of the premier squads in the league this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that game. You know what would be better? If they play each other in the Western Conference Finals and we just have to stay in L.A. and wouldn't have to do any traveling. That would be my perfect scenario for the Western Conference Finals since we got that this year.
Well, yeah, it's all about you and the convenience for your schedule. And did you know a lot of these games out in the West Coast now are going to start a little earlier, so you must be happy to hear that.
Well, it's something that me and Ernie and TT been trying to get the NBA to do for years. We should start those games hopefully at 7 o'clock instead of 7:45, almost 8 o'clock. Because it's not fair to the East Coast. And actually, I think it'll be better for the players in the long run. So I hope they stick to their word and move these games up. It'll be great for these young kids to not have to stay up till 1, 2 in the morning. So great move by the NBA if they stick to it.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of the games will start at 10 o'clock Eastern instead of 10:30 Eastern time, of course, 7 o'clock local time. Charles, that opening night schedule, the headline, obviously, the battle for L.A., but also it's going to be our first time to see Zion Williamson. And in fact, his first 5 games, Charles, that he'll play are on national TV. What type of expectation and pressure do you think that puts on the #1 overall pick to be thrust into the spotlight so quickly?
Well, first of all, when you're the #1 pick, that's automatically going to be built-in pressure. He's a great kid. I think he's got great potential. I know Alvin Gentry is going to do a fantastic job trying to shield him away to relax and just play. But, man, he looks so exciting. I can't watch. I look forward to seeing it not on television. I want to go see him play in person. But like I say, there's built-in pressure with being the #1 pick in the draft. And he just wants to surround himself with good coaches and hopefully put some good vets around him.
In fact, 4 out of the first 5 for Zion that he'll play will be on national TV. Chuck, another big part of this schedule that we've been talking about is all of these return games. With so much turnover in the league this year, over the summer, people changing teams. Is there one particular return that you're most looking forward to?
Well, I don't think there's one. I think that Kawhi going back to Toronto is going to be very interesting, but they should celebrate him, getting them their world championship. You got Kemba Walker going back to Charlotte at some point. But I got to tell you something. What I'm most excited about, who's the best team in the Eastern Conference? I'm going out on a limb right now. I'm riding the dime with the Philadelphia 76ers. I know it's going to be a great battle between them and the Milwaukee Bucks all year. But I love Philadelphia. I love Al Horford, Josh Richardson. Milwaukee losing Brogdon. I mean, I think that's a big deal. But I think it's a 2-team race in the Eastern Conference between the 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks. I can't wait till they play each other head-to-head.
Can I get I guarantee it?
I guarantee you the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win the Eastern Conference.
We wrote it down. Ernie, somewhere at home right now, is pinning it up against the wall. You mentioned Philadelphia, and we saw during the playoffs last year Embiid really break down, whether it be injury or his health. There's been so much chatter this summer about him getting his body right. Do you feel like the Sixers may employ that load management strategy on Embiid this season?
No, they need to get Embiid in shape. They need to have the stones to say, yo, man, we need you to be in shape. You know what's interesting about that whole scenario? The Sixers, instead, a lot of teams, when we talk about the Lakers, we says, well, how good is their supporting cast to go with AD and LeBron? We said the same thing about Kawhi and Paul George. How good is their supporting cast? With the 76ers, the biggest question is the 2 superstars. If Ben Simmons don't work on his game and Joel Embiid going to get his butt in shape, that to me is one of the most perplexing questions I've been asked all summer living in Philadelphia. I said, they spent the whole summer, they're like, oh my God, we lost Jimmy Butler. We lost J.J. Redick. I said, you worried about Jimmy Butler and J.J. Redick and you got Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons? They're the 2 biggest question marks. So that's what's going to be fascinating to me, seeing if those 2 guys really worked on their bodies and their games this summer.
Chuck, you gave us a prediction in the East. Can we do the same with the Western Conference? Give us an I guarantee in the West.
Yo, brother, the West is going to be crazy. There's a couple of reasons I can't pick the West. Number one, how much is Kawhi gonna play? He can't miss 22 games in the West. He missed 22 games with Lowe's management. That will not work in the Western Conference because it's so loaded. And when it comes to the Lakers, how healthy is LeBron gonna stay, and how healthy is Anthony Davis gonna stay healthy throughout the year? Those are legit questions that need to be answered. Utah is probably the most improved things without getting a superstar free agent. The Rockets in Westbrook, that's going to be a fascinating experiment. Like I say, I got no idea who's going to win the West. I could throw some up in the wind, but the Lakers and the Clippers got questions. So you got to wait and see. Like I say, Kawhi Leonard can't miss 22 games in the West. If he missed 22 games in the West, they won't even have home court the first round of the playoffs. So I can't pick a winner in the West right now, Jared.
All right, well, you did mention the Rockets, so let's ask you about Houston, who will appear on the first Thursday on TNT of the season. That's October 24th, when we'll see the Rockets play Giannis and Milwaukee. Do you believe that Westbrook and Harden is a good pairing?
Wow. I don't know the answer to that question. The question is, can Russell, and I said this a couple of years ago, I thought that they should have moved Russell Westbrook to the 2 position because he's too dominant when he plays the point guard position. Now, the question is, can Russell accept the fact that he's going to be the 2 guard, going to get a lot less shots? And is he going to, Pat Riley, I would say, you need voluntary cooperation. So that would be my question. I don't want to say no because I got none but love and respect for Russell Westbrook. I hate when people take shots at Russell because when did we get to a place in society where a guy who goes out and gives 100% maximum effort every single day, we take more shots at him than we give him respect and admire him? I'm never going to say anything bad about Russell Westbrook because I just admire. He's the hardest working player in the league. Is he a perfect player? No, he's not a perfect player. But I think it's really unfortunate that everybody takes shots at the guy who's the hardest working player in the NBA. So I don't know the answer to your question, to be honest with you.
Charles, this is a milestone day for us to render you speechless here in the summer. We're looking forward to getting to you on October 22nd, opening night in the NBA on TNT. Thanks for joining us.
Well, you know what? I wish I could be seeing you face to face because I know you got your gel in full effect right now. I know
it looks good, by the way, if I may say so myself.
I bet there's not a hair out of place right now. So I'm not in front of a monitor.
Well, Chuck, we'll get some FaceTime soon enough. I'm sure we'll see you on the TV somewhere around along the line.
All right, my brother. Hey, keep up the great work. I'll see y'all in the fall.
The Hall of Famer, Charles Barkley. You can check him out on TNT's opening night, October 22nd. And the tweets are already rolling in. Some Lakers chiming in. Kyle Kuzma, the man who's going to be in the third part of that big 3. We're taking on the Clips at home. Nothing like playing on Christmas. Jared Dudley, also a member of the Lakers. How about this? They look like Pitbull there a little bit. Can't wait for the Lake Show to begin on October 22nd. And another Laker, JaVale McGee, another crack at Dub Nation. Remember, he played for the Lakers last year. This season's going to be crazy. Back in the Bay to take on Dub Nation February 8th. Back at our schedule release show, let's get you more notable return games, starting with the Hornets welcoming back their all-time leading scorer on November 7th. That's when Kemba Walker and the Celtics will visit the Charlotte Hornets. Should be a very warm welcome that particular night. Back in 2015, the Knicks selected Kristaps Porzingis with the 4th pick. The oft-injured big man was an all-star in 2018. On November 14th, 2019, he makes his Garden debut as a member of the Dallas Mavericks. Mike Conley played his first 12 seasons in Memphis, scoring more points than anyone in Grizzlies history. November 15th, Conley will be in the Grindhouse, this time wearing a Jazz uniform. Should be a very warm welcome, standing O type of night there as well. December 12th, Al Horford goes back to TD Garden as a member of the Sixers. Horford played 3 seasons in Boston, serving as the backbone of Celtics teams that went to the Eastern Conference Finals in back-to-back seasons in 17 and 18. Curious what type of reception he'll get. Very interesting departure from Boston as he opted out of the final year of his contract. Jimmy Butler only played a total of 67 regular season and playoff games for the Sixers, but now he is on the Heat. It should be interesting to watch the Philly crowd on Saturday, November 23rd, when Jimmy Buckets returns to Philadelphia.